Hello, Dr. Grande here. So it's warm up here today this evening in my room. The day and the evening, it was warm. The HVAC system in my house is pretty good, but like many systems for colonial style houses, the first floor is always the temperature that you want, when you set up the thermostat. And the second floor is just, who knows, right? Like in the summer, upstairs is always hotter. In the winter, it's always cooler. So I have the vents closed in this room because the heat's still on. It's kind of warm out though. It's like 60 today or something. So downstairs it's like 62 and up here it's like 72, which for me is kind of warm. So I was looking for a shirt to wear for this video and I thought, why not go with the Hawaiian shirt? Haven't worn it in a while. Haven't worn it since that video, milestone video. So that was, I thought, a good choice. Today I wanted to talk about a few different YouTube channels. I've had a number of requests for some various channels, so I thought I would cover Dr. Les Carter, Dr. Ramani, or Ramani, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. I'll probably just use Ramani. And then MedCircle, which is another channel that Dr. Ramani is featured on. There's a few different professionals on that channel. They're all huge YouTube channels. I haven't looked at the stats in a while, so I just don't know, but just kind of based on my memory from the last time I checked, which was probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. I want to say Les Carter's got to be close to maybe 350 or 400,000. Pretty big channel, Dr. Carter. Dr. Ramani, I think, is probably closer to 450 to 500, something like that. And I think MedCircle is like 700,000 or maybe even a little more. So big channels. I don't remember the number of views per month. I want to say Les Carter is somewhere around 1.5 million views, and Ramani is in the neighborhood of 4.5 million. And I don't know about MedCircle. I don't know, several million, I believe. So again, big channels. They have a lot of people watching. They're influential channels. I think that doesn't even get captured in their size. I think beyond their size, they have kind of a professional tone to them, and I think it just makes a larger impact than just the number of views. So I'll go through each one. I'll start with Ramani. I'll move to Dr. Carter, and then take a look at MedCircle. Some of the things I talk about with Ramani's channel kind of apply to MedCircle because there's some overlap there. So I've noticed a few things over the years. I've seen many videos on Ramani's channel, probably a dozen, and that's for me kind of a lot because there's a lot of different channels I look at from time to time, and I can't really spend a lot of time on any one. There's a few exceptions, of course, like 60 Minutes Australia. I've seen a lot of their stuff. But for most channels, I just can't watch a whole lot of videos. And of course, I'm busy making my own frequently, every day. So, but I have seen 12 dozen or so. And there's kind of a theme to Ramani's channel. It's the narcissism, right? That's the major area that she covers, and kind of like related constructs. Like there's a little bit of psychopathy mentioned from time to time and some other things, but it is fairly focused on the narcissism. In the videos, I think Ramani primarily focuses on what it's like to be in a relationship with a narcissist, right? So a lot of it is, I think, based on romantic relationships, ones that are current, ones that have failed, like ended in divorce. There's, I think, some familial stuff, like other than marriage as well, like dealing with a parent or sibling who's narcissistic. Most of it, though, I really do see as the romantic relationship context. So it strikes me, and this really applies to Dr. Carter as well. Dr. Ramani's channel kind of strikes me as a support channel. Like, so somebody struggled with a narcissist or more than one in their life, and they want some information about it from a professional, and they want to be mature, kind of put together, not rambling, like a tight presentation. And I think that's kind of what Ramani really brings. There's a level of precision, but she's also kind of casual at the same time, which I think really works well. The style works well. And she has good kind of interesting information that she brings into various videos, an angle maybe that would not be expected. And I think that, you know, people can watch that and feel as though there's somebody who understands and a community that understands that narcissism is horrible to deal with for the person who has it, but also for everyone around them. And that's really the focus of the channel. There's no real emphasis on helping the narcissist on that channel. And that's fine. That's how the channel is laid out. That's how it's designed. Not every channel can do everything. I mean, a prosecutor doesn't defend people. A defense attorney doesn't prosecute. There are specialties, and YouTube is no exception. People are going to come on YouTube and kind of just look at one thing. So I think that if what I described is what people are kind of connecting to the channel around, like if that's what they're looking for, I think that Ramani meets that need pretty well. The channel has consistency. I believe for most of the time, she's been doing one video a day, which is an incredible pace. I know, because I also produce a video a day, and it can be a struggle. Like, that's a real commitment. She also, if I'm not mistaken, does other things, like she has live chats or live group things going on. I don't really know much about it, but she does more than just being on YouTube and producing the daily video. If I understand it right, she does have help, like staff that assist in some way. So that might lighten the load a bit and make it possible to maybe produce 2 videos a day, and then she releases 1 a day, something like that. That's what I picture. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but she can probably produce 2 a day and then have a day off, or produce 2 a day for a few days in a row and take the rest of the week off, something like that. That's kind of how I picture it, because again, it seems like she has a lot going on in her professional life. So I think a good, clean channel with a clear purpose. It's very focused, and there are some concrete takeaways. There is, in most videos, something that, again, people can really grab onto, and like something catchy or novel or interesting that can be a takeaway. I think the casual component works well too, because again, it's like she's talking to the audience directly in a informal setting while being professional. And I think people really respond to that. Something that just appealing to her audience. Now, I don't really have much in the way of criticism for what Ramani does. I mean, it's easy to say, well, why doesn't she talk about things from the narcissist perspective? Which again is, I don't think she does, but maybe she does. I don't know. Again, there are specialties, so that kind of explains that. Why not talk about topics outside of narcissism? Same answer. I mean, it's much more straightforward and easier to kind of focus on one thing. I mean, if she wanted to talk about another topic, she could start another channel and kind of divide things that way. The only thing I can really think of as a criticism, and it's really, It's kind of a criticism, but it's also kind of a compliment. So it's kind of a weak criticism, I guess, would be that I've had a number of people contact me over the years. And this is something they've also said about Dr. Carter's channel, and told me that the threshold to get banned from commenting on the channel is very low. Now, I don't know. I mean, these are reports that I get, and I assume that people are telling me the truth. I have no reason to believe they wouldn't. But I don't know. I don't have firsthand experience. I've never commented on there, and I don't know anybody personally who has. So to investigate, I did go through a few videos. I didn't watch the video. I just clicked on and read the comments to see if there were any negative comments, because that's a good sign that somebody's not screening too well or at all. And I must say, I didn't really see, in the few videos I sampled, I didn't really see any negative comments, which is unheard of, right? I mean, if there wasn't some type of screening happening. So I'm guessing that Dr. Ramani or somebody that works for her goes through and just deletes comments that would be offensive or offer some type of disagreement, or I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. It's just what I'm guessing from my quick view of a few comment sections of various videos. Les Carter, Dr. Carter, same thing. A number of people have told me, like, they put something on there, they were just trying to offer another perspective, and they got wiped out. You know, they're gone. What happens potentially, I mean, there's an ability to remove a comment, but there's also an ability to hide someone from ever commenting. And that is, you know, in my opinion, that's something I use very sparingly, right? Like, I'll remove comments. People start putting things on there about, you know, oh, you disagree with me, so you must be someone who hates all these people or whatever. That kind of nonsense I try to eliminate at a fair pace. I let a lot go, I guess, on my channel. But I try to eliminate some of that because it doesn't exactly, well, it's, again, nonsense. It's kind of conspiracy theory type nonsense. So I try to move some of that kind of off. But in terms of like hiding somebody forever, I use that sparingly. I've had to do it though. And anymore, with the number of abnormal or unusual comments, or not so much unusual, but offensive, you know, comments, I've had to use that more and more. But it's not something that, you know, I'm using often. And it's something I contemplate carefully. Like, I'll look at the offending comment, I'll search that username and see if there's a whole bunch of offending comments or if it's just a bad day. People have a bad day, right? They have a bad day. They look at a video, like maybe they saw the Woody Allen video, and they get it in their mind that, that's a video I did not long ago. They get it in their mind that because I offer my opinion based on evidence, it's unlocking some secret bias or some nonsense, and they just put something really kind of hateful and illogical, and sometimes silly to a degree where it really exposes how their thinking isn't rational, or at least they don't appear rational. Maybe they are rational and it's just a trick, right? They could be acting or whatever, I don't know. But if there's just the one, I'll delete it. Sometimes I won't, but I'm not going to hide the user forever. If it's a whole string of them on multiple videos, or even a lot on one video, I will. If someone ever got hidden on my channel and they sent me an email and they said, hey, look, you know, I was having a bad day or a bad year, I would probably just reinstate their ability to post. Like, I'm not vindictive. It's not like revenge or whatever. It's just trying to keep the community safe. So anyway, back to my weak criticism of Ramani and Carter as well. They seem to police their comments very assertively. And the reason I say it's a weak criticism is because in one way, I kind of agree with them. Like, what I do is not unusual. I mean, there's a lot of people who kind of handle it the way I do, where they let a lot of disagreement stay on there. But there's something to be said for Ramani and Carter's style. Like, they really do keep a tight environment where there's not a lot of discord. There's not a lot of acrimony, because those people have been, again, I think, removed. So yeah, that's all I have for criticism. It's really not, it's not much. I like those channels, and they do a good job. So I think it's just an alternate way of handling conversations. And I think that if a channel's goal is to be supportive on a particular topic like that, then what they're doing kind of makes sense. If a channel's goal is more to encourage flexible thinking and to explore kind of the rational thought process, then probably leaving a wider variety of comments makes more sense. So maybe it could be that what I do makes sense and what they do makes sense. Who knows? Maybe none of us make sense. It's hard to say. So, all right, so that's Dr. Ramani. So good channel, one that's certainly growing. And I think the fact that it's growing so fast is not only a testament to the skill and style that Ramani brings, but also to how much narcissism affects people. That's the scary part, right? Like, wow, it's really an epidemic. I mean, this isn't like a few people connecting. This is hundreds of thousands of people that say, yeah, I've experienced narcissism and it's horrible. And I'm really looking for people that understand how I'm feeling. So, okay, moving over to Dr. Carter. So I didn't talk about qualifications about either content creator. I believe that Ramani, if I'm not mistaken, she's a mental health professional, a doctoral level professional, and I think her degree is in psychology, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Carter is also a doctoral level professional, and I think his doctorate's more related to counseling. So the same level of qualification, a slightly different emphasis. With Dr. Carter, he has a similar, I guess, mission with his channel. His output is lower than Ramani. If he had a daily video, I'm confident the channels would be the same size, because they have very similar product that they offer. I think that Les Carter has kind of a different style, and I imagine he attracts a similar audience, but there might be some variation there. There's this sense that he's almost taking his counseling style and kind of putting it into the camera, right? A very friendly, open, honest, and direct discussion of narcissism. Again, one that emphasizes romantic relationships that didn't work out or that people are struggling with. And I think it's just really his way of being that comes through. A nice professional who is non-judgmental, he really understands. And I think the big difference in my opinion, between Carter and Ramani would be, I get the sense from watching a few of his videos that he understands the position of the narcissist. Like, he thinks about it. They both understand the narcissist, but he thinks about it more from the narcissist perspective. Like, he really tries to get into the mind of the narcissist and talk about their point of view, right? Like, he's tough on them, but not as tough as Ramani. That's just my opinion. I mean, again, I'm looking at a dozen videos. And both channels are massive in terms of their libraries, so I could be missing huge segments of what they've done, and I wouldn't know. I don't think one is necessarily a substitute for the other. Like, I don't think that people could just say, oh, I'm not going to watch Ramani now, I'm going to watch Carter, and that'll take care of this. I think they do offer something unique. They each offer something the other channel does not. But there is, of course, fairly significant similarity. Both doctoral level professionals talking about narcissism from that relational perspective. So I could see how somebody could maybe go back and forth or watch both. I could see either one. As far as criticisms, other than the comment moderating that I talked about, it's really not even a criticism, right? Like, it's just a different way of doing things. I don't really have much in the way of criticism for Carter either. I mean, there's always the kind of classic go-to of, hey, make more videos, or again, try something a little different and kind of add on. But as I mentioned, that's not always a good thing to do, right? Sometimes it's better to keep that channel narrow and really focus on one thing. So, yeah, I think they're both good channels. I certainly think in the world of narcissism videos, they are the top two channels. I don't really see any of the other professionals competing with them. And I think some of the non-professionals have pretty good channels, but the depth that Ramani and Carter bring, like with their psychotherapy experience, is just very hard to compete with for someone who doesn't have the training and experience in mental health treatment. I think there can be some interesting discussions on the periphery, like maybe applying narcissism to different scenarios that are going on in the world or whatever, where a non-professional, I think, could get a really good handle on like a particular case and then kind of tie in some different elements of narcissism. But in terms of the clinical aspects and like getting into those relationships, it's challenging. Like, I think any non-professional with a narcissism channel just has to look at Ramani and Carter and think, wow, these guys know what they're doing. Like, I don't know how anyone could not walk away with that impression. I mean, if anything, I think they're really highlighting the importance of education and training in psychotherapy fields. So, you know, maybe some of those other content creators will be encouraged to pursue an education after seeing how Ramani and Carter handle their videos, like what they do in their videos. So that leaves me with MedCircle. So MedCircle is a very unusual channel on YouTube. There are 4 main professionals. I don't remember who they are. I know Ramani's one of them. And I think one of the professionals is a man. That's pretty much all I know. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. And I saw something on MedCircle a while ago about the structure, like there was some guy who owned it or something, the company. They have a website. I really don't know the whole story. I don't know why they make videos. I don't know if it's to push people to their website or for ad revenue or to sell books. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I know they have a website, so it makes sense that they're probably trying to drive traffic there. And I think I remember a few videos that mention that. So maybe that's part of the mission. The videos on MedCircle cover a broad range of mental health topics. And really, it seems like they're not afraid to be controversial. I don't know about the comments monitoring. I can't recall ever looking at the comments and trying to figure out if they look screened or not. But based on the like-dislike ratio, they're not afraid of controversy. They put out a lot of unpopular videos relative to that field. I mean, mental health videos in general don't attract a lot of negative attention, but compared to other mental health channels, they're edgy. And I'm actually impressed by that. I think that's how it should be. So The video quality is very high. They have clearly other people that work there, not just the professionals, but like there's a person that interviews, and they have really great lighting and sound, and the sets are always so dialed in. Very professional, like television grade production. I think that's actually what stands out next after the quality of the actual discussions on mental health. I don't really have much in the way of criticism for MedCircle. I think they're trying something very different. I hope that it's rewarding for them. I think it should be based on how they're received. Again, I know they have some videos that are unpopular, but there's many that are well-liked. There's many that have over 95% likes or 98%. Like, there's some that aren't controversial at all, and they connect to a lot of people that like the video. So I think what they do is valuable. And again, I think that if someone were trying to present on those topics without the training that those people have, they would probably look at that and say, wow, again, it's a good encouragement to pursue a career in mental health counseling or a related field. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on those 3 channels. Whenever I critique anything, I'm always disappointed in myself if I can't find something negative, right? That's the whole idea of someone who is well-rounded and critical, right? For those 2 terms to go together, there has to be something negative. And with these 3 channels, I haven't found anything meaningful that's negative. They're good channels all the way around, right? So they're like 60 Minutes Australia or something in that sense. Like they're high quality, and I just don't have anything negative to say. If I did, I wouldn't be shy about it. I think it's important for people to be able to grow. Like, I think they need to hear criticism. I just don't have any for them. So they do a great job. And I'd be curious if they're ever going to expand with other channels or other services, although they may have other services I just don't know about. Again, I haven't really dug into like the history and all the other things they might do. So there's a lot out there in the world of social media that isn't good, that I could criticize pretty easily. These 3 channels are not among those items. So they do a good job, and I think they represent mental health professions, their respective mental health professions, very well. And that's a compliment that I give out rarely, right? Because I'm very stringent when it comes to mental health education, like counselor education. I mean, my training is as, again, a counselor educator. So it's about effectively teaching future counselors. And consistent with that style, I'm going to try to find things that aren't right and fix them. So if 3 channels can get by me without any meaningful criticism, I would hope they consider that a genuine testament to the good job they have done. So I hope you like this review of these 3 channels. Please keep sending in ideas if you have any thoughts about other channels, perhaps ones with more area for criticism, where I can really kind of dig in and offer something negative. I'll put positive in there too, of course, But yeah, one where I can kind of explore both sides a little bit more. I'll be happy to do that. Or ones that are totally good or totally bad. Doesn't matter. As always, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching this video, and I will talk to you soon.